Hello and welcome everyone. Some days ago I played in a tournament. It was Capablanca Memorial in Havana. In one of my games I had this interesting position. I really needed to win this game, but as you can see it's not easy. I had a rook and my opponent had a bishop and two pawns. Fortunately I could win, but I want to analyze this game with you and share some thoughts. Okay, well, in this position I played rook b3, trying to improve the rook and control the passed pawn. And in this moment he played h4. And this is a really important moment of this game. Whenever you're playing an endgame, you need to avoid to move the pawns unless it's really necessary. I mean, if you're going to create a passed pawn, of course, you need to advance your pawns. But if there is not a good reason to advance them, it's not a good idea. The more advanced they are, the weaker they are. So this move h4 is probably one of the reasons why white lost this game. I played rook b4, improving the rook, controlling f4 and also h4. And in this position white doesn't have too many options. The king has to keep controlling the pawn and the bishop has to keep controlling this other pawn on b5. So a normal move, bishop d7 maybe. In this moment he played king h3. I think it's not the best option because I can still improve my king and play king f4. King g2, rook goes to b2, and now bishop d7. And in this moment I thought, well, everything is fine, but I don't see a good way to progress here. So I thought if I can make this rook a little more active, then I found this idea that I can still control this pawn over the ranks. I don't have to be behind. So I decided to make this plan rook d2 and rook d6. The pawn can't still move, and my rook has some new perspectives over here, over the king side, threatening the pawns over there. So bishop e8 and now f5. The idea is that I'm going to play rook h6 here. Bishop c6, maybe an interesting option for white here, h5, and try to protect both pawns with the bishop here on e8. It's a little passive, but it was another option. In the game he played like this, bishop c6, and then after rook h6 I'm getting the pawn, because he played bishop d5, but if he had played king h3 I can just play g5, getting the pawn. So bishop d5, I can capture the pawn, and in this moment he played what seems a very logical move, b6, but actually it's a mistake. After b6 white is going to lose the pawn. A normal move here, bishop c6, and try to protect the pawn with the bishop. I think black would have some possibilities to win, but of course it could be more difficult. But after b6 I can play rook h6 and rook b6, and the problem is that the bishop doesn't have a good square protected to keep protecting the pawn, so that's not good. And now with my king I can threaten the bishop and capture the pawn, and this should be winning here without too many complications. After king f4 I try to protect my pawn, king g5, which is interesting because now white is threatening something like bishop g6 and putting some pressure there. It could be very sad for me if I had to play rook b5 and keep my king and rook slaved protecting this pawn. So I found this move here, rook b1. The idea is that after bishop g6 I can play rook u1 check. he went back to f4, king f6, king g3, f4 now, rook goes to b3, and now rook a3. The idea here is that if I can capture one pawn, I will be winning, and that's what I wanted, to try to get one of the f pawns. So bishop c6, king d6. I was threatening here to play king e4 and capture, so he had to play something like this. But now f4 is going to be weak. And now he's threatening g6, but a move like rook a8 protects g6 because he cannot take it because of rook g8. And at the same time he's threatening the bishop. The same idea again. And now of course king e3, threatening f4. Rook b8, trying to improve the rook. And now rook b1, preparing some check over here. King g2, I can capture, but he can take here, so maybe this is better. Rook b8, the same idea, protecting g6, and now he resigned it because after the bishop moves I can capture here on f4, and it will be very easy to win that endgame. There are two important things about this game I want to mention. One of them, you don't need a winning position to win a game. Sometimes you have a better position and you can maneuver a little, and maybe it won't be easy for your opponent to find the right moves in the right moment. And the other one, I already mentioned it, is about the pawns. Don't move the pawns unless it's really necessary in the endgames. If you want that I make more videos about some interesting endgames, give me likes so I can know it, and I will gladly do more of them. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon in some other video.